Él está aquí y hoy confesamos que tu presencia nos liberta, Dios.
Accidents happen. There's no way how to crash with the trains. A Brightline train trip, Fort Lauderdale to Bay Area. Let's watch the 2025 Fort Lauderdale train disaster. On Monday, December 1st, 2025, a Brightline train arrives early at Fort Lauderdale station. Begins in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. The train then departs at Fort Lauderdale station. The train passes through South Avenue in Fort Lauderdale. Brightline train passes Blueberry Avenue in Fort Lauderdale. That's where it happened. The train derailed on September 1st, 2025. The pickup truck called Jeep Gladiator going at 80 miles per hour when a man yells at the driver to slow down, to stop. Seconds before it slams into a train, when a Brightline train conductor yells and passengers yells and like to say bad words and says, "Shh." What the heck? But then it was too little and too late. The truck then slams into a Brightline train, killing 96 passengers on board the train, including the train engineers spilled into a track. It took paramedics almost a few minutes to reach Fort North area. The railroad crossing gates were working correctly. However, 4 rail cars were retired and scrapped. 4 of the rail cars caught fire after being struck by this truck. At a railroad crossing, this is at 20th Street and Blueberry Avenue. The train apparently derailed after being struck by this truck. At 4:10 a.m. this morning, a man yells at the mom to slow down, to stop. Seconds before it slams into a Brightline train at a level crossing. A Brightline train was traveling 39 miles per hour when it was struck at this Florida crossing. The passengers are scrambled to get out of the train, worried about explosion, about the fire spreading. The firefighters quickly put out their flames. The passengers are still accounted for after the truck hits the Brightline train at North Avenue and 20th Street around 4:10 a.m. in the morning on December 1st, 2025. However, the CSS locomotive helps a Brightline train to help to put on the yards after a Brightline train was struck by this truck at a level crossing. The most train incidents in Florida. A tri-rail train collides with a car at North Avenue and 20th Street. A GO Transit train collides with the car at Toronto Boulevard. On Saturday, December 13, tri-rail train collides with the car in Pompano Beach. On Sunday, December 14, GO Transit train collides with the car in Brampton. On Tuesday, December 16, 2025, the vehicle was struck by the 2 Metrolink commuter trains in Oceanside, California. Including the others were injured, and several passengers later died in a hospital days after the crash. However, the engineer who died after a train accident in 2025 Fort Lauderdale train derailment and 4 months ago. How can you scrap the train after a train accident from disaster? But why? After the train was hit by a truck? The night passengers are frustrated to say the least, and others were distracted after a train derailed after being hit by a truck on September 1st, 2025. And December 1st, 2025, the pickup truck burst into flames after colliding with the train at North Avenue and 20th Street. Night passengers are still accounted for after the truck slammed into the side of a locomotive. My hat caught fire. My passengers were yelled when the train caught fire after being hit by a truck. The train was heading to Brightline to Bay Area and was struck at this North Avenue railroad crossing. The truck then slammed into a Brightline train at North Avenue and 20th Street in Fort Lauderdale. The nearby Naval Air Station fell on some helicopters to help evacuate the injured. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department says the pickup truck driver being questioned by authorities after slamming into a train at the North Avenue and 20th Street in Fort Lauderdale. The train engineer maybe have to claim for his life again after a train incident after being hit by a truck at the North Avenue and 20th Street railroad crossing. However, 4 rail cars caught fire now and is scrapped. 4 months later, the accident is now under investigation today. All of the Brightline trains are badly damaged. Investigators could quickly confirm the number of dead. After the accident, the passenger train service is now resumed. Following the day of the incident, the truck burst into flames after colliding with the train at North Avenue and 20th Street. As the flames spread to the train, passengers dove to safety. And passengers are frustrated to say the least, after a Brightline train burst into flames after being hit by a truck. The pickup truck smashed into the side of a locomotive at North Avenue and 20th Street. The train was heading to Fort Lauderdale to Bay Area when it was struck 20 miles outside of North Avenue and 20th Street in Fort Lauderdale. The night passengers are scrambled to get out of the train, worried about explosion, about the fire spreading. The firefighters quickly put out their flames after a train explosion after being hit by a truck. 1 month later, the pickup truck burst into flames after colliding with a train. So, let's hope that this accident never happens again.